Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a truly special online event today. It's called Cultivate Energetic Resilience. Calibrate your energy anatomy to move through life with more balance, vitality, and inner strength. My name is Stephen Diamond, the founder and CEO of the Shift Network, and I'm really blessed to be with you here because 2 years ago I got introduced to a remarkable teacher who taught for Shift. Her name is Prune Harris, and she's going to be taking us on a journey into our energy systems today. And I think this journey is particularly important now when the world gets more chaotic, more tumultuous, more polarized, that we need to become more resilient, more centered, more grounded to not only navigate that outer world, but even be way showers for others in this time. So Prune is an energy expert. She's a consciousness educator and soul activist. And if you like what you hear today, we are very excited. Have a second program coming up with Prune now. It's called Create Energetic Resilience, and it's really going to be a fantastic way to go to the next level. And we'll share more about that towards the end of the hour. So Prune, thanks so much for coming back.
Thank you, Stephen. I'm really, really happy to be here with you and explore this concept of energetic resilience because my goodness, as you say, we need it nowadays.
Yes, we do. And before we get into some of the key themes, I do want to get a little bit of your story and journey, because one of the things that really struck me last time was just how the breadth of knowledge you had of how all these different energy systems and insights fit together. So you've really have a very holistic understanding of the human energy system, and love to hear a little bit about how you came to that through your own journey.
Oh, thanks, Stephen. I think one of the big benefits to the way that I've lived my life is I've always been able to see energy. So actually, I would say that energy is my first language. Before I had any other language, I could understand, I could see the way that the patterns in the human body fit together or not, depending on the balance, depending on imbalance. And also the way that our own energy systems are constantly interrelational with every other energy system. And of course, by that, I mean absolutely everything. So I was always able to watch that. I grew up on a farm where I could see the interactions with the animals, with each other, the way that energy moved between them. And then all of the cows might move in one direction, or the horse would respond because of the energy fields and the communication. I think we have to take as a premise, or certainly my premise, that energy is information. That's it. So
Mm.
when we get these waves of energy, we are being informed by them. And of course, we're always emitting waves of energy too. So that place of being able to see energy, begin to understand it, have that as my natural language, has been deeply inspirational and informed everything
Mm.
that I am. But also the place of my own body system being anything other than resilient, of a highly sensitive person, an empath, someone for whom these fields of information could be utterly overwhelming. So I had to learn to track that.
Mm.
And so that really initiated that deep interest in healing, in being able to understand energy, to bring that healing forward, first into my own life, and then trained with amazing healers throughout the world to really improve upon my skills and my language to convey understandings about energy. So 2 decades in private practice, and now really focusing on teaching. I want to be able to help support, well, several millions, if not billions of people to really understand their energy, because it is the foundation of everything we are. And there's so much we can do to ensure that our energy is in its fullest place.
Mm. Beautiful intentions and vision there for your work and touching millions, perhaps billions of people. So let's talk. I think it's useful. What I found useful with you first is sort of have a little bit of that broader map of
Mhm.
your understanding of the human energy system, because I thought the way you wove together the, meridians and chakras and energy bodies it was very coherent, and I really appreciated having that sense of like, oh, all these things are actually describing different aspects of us of a more unified system.
Yeah, it's interesting if we think about the way that, yes, we are one amazing field of energy. our body is, our soul is, our consciousness is. They're all different forms of energy. So we can divide the whole field of ourselves, of yourself, of an animal, of a tree, into certain aspects, which we could call energy anatomy. So just like we have a physical body and physical anatomy, if I say, hey, Stephen, how are your bones? You know what I mean. If I say, how is your lungs or other organs? You know what I mean. I find it helpful to break down these parts of our whole system. Of course, they're all interconnected, but actually they have different vibrations and they connect to each other in different ways, in very distinct ways. So for me, of course, your energy is incredibly complex. So we could go into many different parts of it. But if we look at these broad components of your energy anatomy, it comes down to 6 key categories that all resonate together. They all collaborate together. We are incredibly collaborative and cooperative energy fields. So maybe if we start at the very deepest level, now that is your energetic core. And if we think about the physiology of the body, we could conceive of the spine as being that real deep essence of our skeletal system that holds and supports our entire body frame. So the energetic core is very akin to that. And physically, it actually encompasses the spine, or just in front of it, the cerebral spinal fluid lives within this core system. So we've got this energetic core. And when I look at the energetic core, if I look at yours right now, then it is a superhighway of information, of light filaments. I want you to have that image, for all of us to have that image of ourselves as this incredible energetic being, and that soul energy dances through that core as these beautiful light filaments.
Mm.
So
I'm going to say, hang on to I'm the super highway of light filaments. I like that image.
yes, you are. Every single one of us is. You know, if there was one thing I would love to gift every living being, is the way that that core energy looks, because it is radiant. It is magnificent beyond any human comprehension of ourselves. Maybe we look in the mirror and we think, hey, I look pretty good today, but never once do we look at ourselves and see that same incredible light radiance that we might see when we look at a sunset or a sunrise, or something that just moves us beyond human experiencing. That's how we look. That is the energy that is always radiating from that core. So we have that beautiful core energy, and it doesn't stop at our head. Our energy body continues. So that core goes about an arm's length above your head, about an arm's length beneath your feet. In a minute, I'd love us to work with a practice that activates that core energy. But for now, holding that image of that highway, superhighway of light filaments connected into the sun star at the very top of your auric field, your biofield, and the earth star at the very bottom. And those two powerful energy hubs connect you always above and below. They're places of this incredible exchange of information. All that I am in my depth exchanges into all that's above. All that you are in your depth exchanges into that above, below. So you get this deep resourcing of energy. So that's the core, and there's many other components of the core I could talk about, but that gives us the broad overview. And when we think about resilience, then activating that core energy into its radiant energy is absolutely key. So that occurs through some of your deepest energy channels. The extraordinary vessels would be how the ancient Chinese would refer to them, these extraordinary vessels which convey that core soul energy through into your ordinary meridians, the organ meridian system, the acupoints that perhaps we massage or that we needle if we're acupuncturists. So you've got the core energy, the energy channels that's carrying that core energy out into the body system. You have the place that it begins to fill your chakras, those amazing energies that come from that core out, front, back, and sides, bringing different vibrations and informations forward. And of course, as they do that, they begin to radiate through the aura so that your soul energy, your radiant energy, is now moving through your biofield, through your aura. So that's another part of your energy anatomy. And all of this amazing energy moves in certain fundamental rhythms. We talked about the fact that that core is connected above and below. And one really, really important thing is that although there are many parts of your energetic field that actually get very activated with the energy from above, the light energy of the sun, the energy of the stars. You have a system called the stellar diamond that's part of your energetic core. And that brings that amazing, we could say, cosmic energy to help us remember that we are cosmic beings as well as earthly beings. But we are here on earth right now with all of its wonders, all of its blessings, and all of its challenges. So this place of how our energy moves through us in its balance is a place of elemental rhythms. So that's this other component of your energy anatomy. And we'll be very familiar with the concept of someone being really fiery, someone who has a lot of that natural fire element through them, or someone who's perhaps really earthy, someone who's a great carer. So these rhythms, these places in that core energy of us, we have all of the elemental rhythms, but they're stacked up a bit differently. So the way that my vibration moves through me will be different to someone who's very, very fiery, for example. So those fundamental rhythms of your life actually begins to govern a lot about your energy system, how you interact with the world. And finally, the last of the energy systems is the heart field, the center of the center of the center, and the amazing place where that core energy and the powerful electromagnetic energy of your heart, it's what we use, of course, if we're having an EKG or an ECG, we're measuring electromagnetic movement of the heart in its balance or out of its balance. So that heart field, because it intersects with this amazing vertical axis of our energetic core and then the horizontal axis of our heart field, it sends the pulse of your radiance, of your empowerment, of your vitality through every other part of your energy anatomy. So there is a whistle-stop tour of how these 6 components of your energy anatomy live together, feed each other, nourish each other. And of course, sometimes, Stephen, as we're very, very well aware, those amazing flows and balance, that collaborative system in balance, we pick up patterns, don't we? Patterns, those glitches of old ways of being, strategy perhaps for keeping us alive or surviving in traumatic circumstances that then kind of have a magnetic stick in them, and they become energetic glitches in the wholeness of our system. So a lot then of the energy practices, the consciousness practices are to recalibrate your entirety of your system, often working with the great strengths in your system, not always tracking the problems, to invite that recalibration so that you can house that deep resiliency.
Well, it's really clear listening to you describe all that, how this is all this lives as a very dynamic field of experience rather than you're sort of cut and pasting things from textbooks or something, that it's very clear that you perceive all these different levels and that they all work together in a really beautiful way. So we're going back to the core energy, which, as you said, is really is the foundation for our resilience. So what are some of the things that help to clarify that, ground that, open the core energy system? So I know you'll be able to go into more of these in your upcoming course, but it's a little bit more like just the broad brushstrokes of how do we work with that system?
Yeah, well, maybe I'll share the practice with you in a couple of minutes, Stephen. But understanding that that core system, there's a place. I explained to you how this super highway of light filaments is. Well, there's a place where that begins to interact, that superhighway begins to interact with the physical body and send information. So we move from that kind of core energy into radiant energy.
Hmm.
And that is a very powerful place of potential. In that potential and multiplied in every in between space in the body. So, in between the cells, in between the fascia, the places, all of the places where there's a distinction from one thing to another, mimics this incredible energy of what I call that fabulous fusion point, because in there is your template of health. And that template of health, and I want to be really clear to anybody listening, that it is exactly that, a template or a blueprint of your health, not
Hmm.
your ill health, not the challenges that you experience, but it holds the potential within that blueprint of you experiencing in this life the fullness of your health, the fullness of your vitality, the fullness of your connectivity with your soul path, your life purpose. It holds all of the coding in that fabulous fusion point. So when it comes to really cultivating that deep level of resilience, then what we're doing is we're inviting the activation of that template of health.
Mhm.
And as I've just said, that template exists through every single system that we have. So we can approach it in many, many ways.
Hmm.
Perhaps this is a beautiful time for us to do that
Yeah, if you want to
activating.
jump into that, that'd be great.
Yeah, well, it feels like this template. One of the things that we're experiencing right now is that so many people are feeling the strain, the uncertainty, the pressure of being a conscious human at this time. There's a lot of things changing in our world, and that can be deeply destabilizing as we ask questions of how we position ourselves in relation to the changes. What is it that we're here to do? How can we be part of the emerging story of our world, the great healing of our world? So when it comes to that place of activating the template of health, it helps us move from the place of having to be really protective of our sensitivity, of our energy awareness, of our perception of ourselves as interconnected. Many, many people now are feeling affected when they watch the news or go to a supermarket or just being even in any social settings. We're moving through a time when the planetary energy is changing, and that's creating both uncertainty in our field and an invitation for greater emergence.
Hmm.
So that's kind of important to say before we work with the core, because we're doing this work in any energy work, any consciousness work, to really tend to that magnificence that is at our core, help it come through and stabilize every part of ourselves so that we can feel and experience the fullness of ourself in any situation. So I want to kind of pop that in for the understanding before we even do the practice. Okay. So first of all, bringing both hands to the chest. Just finding that way of connecting into the center of yourself. And from here, for a moment, doing nothing. Receiving that breath. Releasing it back out. You can close your eyes if you wish to. And knowing that energy loves spaciousness, relaxation, peace, and balance. I invite you to relax your body as much as you can. Place that invitation in your energy field for your shoulders to relax, for your forehead, your jaw, your neck, your belly, your hips. Trust that your bones will hold you up, even if your muscles relax. No efforting here, no holding yourself straight or strong. Simply inviting the relax as you bring your awareness closer and closer to your heart space. Inviting your energy to come home. It knows its rightful place. Now we're going to leave one hand on this heart center, the home of the middle dantian. And we're going to place the other hand on the belly, on your lower abdominal area. The place of the lower dantian. You have 3 dantian, 3 powerful energy hubs deep in your energetic core. The belly, the heart, and the head space. Continuing to receive your breath here as you let your hands do the powerful energetic work of connecting. Reminding the lower dantian and the middle dantian, these deep energetic spheres of their natural and abiding connection. Receiving the breath as your energy finds its connection and balance. Inviting the relaxation deeper and deeper. And keeping that hand on the middle dantian of the heart, bringing your other one up to your forehead. Laying your hand flat along your forehead or up the midline, whatever feels most comfortable to you. Inviting that connection from the lower to the middle, and now from the middle to the upper. These deep energy spheres, the dantians, that reside in that energetic core. The lower dantian, holding all of your physical potential, a great battery of life. The middle dantian, holding the place of all of your relationships, of your connections. The way you here and now as a human being relate to the world around you. And the upper dantian, the place of a greater consciousness, the awareness of collective consciousness of the cosmos all around you. The wisdom of the body, the wisdom of the mind, the wisdom of the soul. Receive one more full breath here and release it again. And then bringing both hands up to that space above your head, the place of that sun star, so your elbows can be just gently bent, your palms facing each other. And see, sense, imagine, visualize that between your hands, between your palms, is another great sphere of energy. The very top of your biofield or aura, the very top of your energetic core. Perhaps you sense or feel it between your hands. Perhaps you simply know it's there. Perhaps you use your imagination to get a sense of its size and color, its brilliance and light. Now we're going to come down those amazing diamond patterns filled with that stellar cosmic energy from that sun star. We're going to move out to the point of the ears and back down as if you're tracing a great diamond to the bottom of your throat. We're going to move out to the waist and back in to the pubic bone and then out to the point of your knees. And you can sit or stand here. And bringing your hands, I'm going to make sure that you can see me, bringing your hands so that your fingers are pointing towards your earth star. About an arm's length beneath your feet. That amazing orb of energy that connects you deep into the earth energy, empowering your deep groundedness. And from there, moving your hands all the way up that energetic core, tracing right up the midline, back up to the sun star. And simply resting here, noticing your energy, noticing your body. And from here, moving your hands with your palms facing towards the floor, back down through the energetic core, through the upper dantian, the middle dantian, and coming to rest on that lower dantian, placing your hands flat against your lower abdomen, and simply receiving breath here. Noticing your groundedness, noticing any spaciousness. Feeling as you breathe in and out, the unfolding and enfolding of your energy fields. Bringing that deep radiance of your core out through all you are to the very edge of your aura. And back once more into the core. One more full breath in and out here. And then relaxing your hands, relaxing your attention, and bringing your awareness back into the room and this moment.
Well, thank you. It's beautiful practice, and your voice has just a very soothing quality as well, and opening up these domains, which clearly lived reality for you. I wasn't as familiar with the sort of these more diamond shapes of the energy field. Can you share a little bit more about some of the kind of structure of what you're
Yeah.
working with and activating there?
Yeah, I mean, and brilliant that you say the word structure there, Stephen, because that is exactly what that particular component of your energetic core holds so strongly. It holds the physical structure. So if, for example, I was working with the bones in somebody's system, perhaps they have osteoporosis, something like that, we'd really be activating the stellar diamonds, we'd be activating them to hold the structure of the bones. To align the place of the shoulders, the hips, the spine. They're an energy, most energy in our bodies flow in two directions. Yeah. So the chakras, they come from the center out through the layers, and then also from the outer layers into the center. The energetic core, the energy is flowing up and down simultaneously in every second of every day. But the diamonds are distinct in that their energy flows from above right the way down into our earth, which is one of the reasons why I call them the stellar diamonds, because they have a vibration, a particular resonance with their mobility, with their flow that I only see, well, in one other place in the body system, and that is the cerebral spinal fluid. That also has the same resonance of that very star-like energy. So it's all about structure, helping us be embodied as human souls in human bodies. That's what that stellar diamond system really holds for us.
When you're saying that, it's sort of like, oh, so in some ways that's actually guiding the build out of your skeleton. It sounds like it's sort of like your shoulders become like endpoints of that diamond, or sort of like yeah, so that it's sort of almost like the form behind the form of your skeleton. It sounds like.
Absolutely. And in that respect, they're always vertical as well. So when we think of the lemniscates, these amazing infinity or figure eight patterns that we have through all of our system, they can be any which way. They can be big, they can be tiny, they can be horizontal, vertical, at any diagonal. They're the incredible weave through which information is carried between all of those different systems that I was sharing about earlier. But the diamonds are always moving from above to below, and they really hold us strong at the cellular level, not just the bone structure, but they have that capacity for anchoring us here on Earth. And also, at the times I see the stellar diamonds most lit up, most active, are either when people are dreaming, or perhaps when people are in really deep meditations. So they are linked not only to holding our physical structure, but also being in some ways the vehicle to our more astral travel or other dimensional experiences. So there's this very powerful link between us as physical embodied humans and us as cosmic beings that are interconnected at every part of our universe.
I want to go ask you about, you also guide us into the Earth star, and share a little bit more about that structure and how is that actually linking us into Gaia and the Earth, and sort of kind of providing a root system for us.
Beautiful question, Stephen. We could spend 7 weeks just talking about the Earth star. So it's part of the energetic core. It's if we think about color, people are always very interested to know what their soul color is or what the colors are in their aura. Color is just a vibration, isn't it? When we look at red, it's a slightly different vibration than the energy that we perceive as blue or green. So when it gets into the Earth star, we're looking at specific vibrations, which will show themselves either as really rich, like a liquid chocolate, like a liquid, dense, chocolatey brown, so luscious, so rich, resonant with the vibration of the blood, but somehow in a bigger or deeper form. Or it will show itself as a beautiful rose gold energy. And actually, in that Earth star, when people are grounding really deeply, it's being housed in that deepest form of the chocolatey brown energy. It's connecting their electromagnetic energy deep into the lower basis of our energy system. So for people who have challenges grounding, let's say, then working with the Earth star can really hold them strong. I don't know if you had it in America, Stephen, but here in Britain we had something called weebles when growing up. They were tiny
Oh
little
yes, the
figures.
weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
Exactly. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. So it's like when our Earth stars, which can never be disconnected, I don't want to give the impression of anything in our energetic core ever being able to be broken or disconnected. It is not. But it can be that the kind of dimmer switch is turned right down low, and we're simply not able to be moving in radiance, the magnificence of that core connection through our everyday experiencing. So much like that weeble that wobbles but never falls down, if our Earth star is in its vitality, in its dimmer switch turned up place of being, then my goodness, we are held deep, deep, deep in our own sense of belonging, in our sense of being beloved. And that's powerful words. When we think about our desire to belong, our desire to feel beloved, that Earth star is one of the key resources for us because it's continually bringing up, it's connecting us into and bringing up, yes, electromagnetic energy. We could measure the type of energy, the particles that come into us, but also subtle energy. Everything about the core is related to our more subtle energy. By the time we get to meridians, we're really talking about electromagnetic energy. So that Earth star is a deep, deep place of our nurturing of our energy system. When it comes to resilience, I don't want us to have the image that we're talking about, getting knocked down and dragging yourself back up, getting knocked down and dragging yourself back up. That might be a very, very old paradigm definition of resilience, but it's not mine. It's the place of us being able to tend to our own being, our own bodies, our own energy in ways that hold us vibrant, strong, with a sense of safety and with a joy of life. Life as energy beings, we are here to experience the sweetness of life. I'm not saying all the time. There's going to be times when we experience some of the challenges, so we can return to that sweetness. But for me, that place of creating resilience is about being able to be fully able to emerge in our own story of being, whatever that is. Every one of us is unique. Every one of us is essential.
Mm. I love the way you describe things, and I'd love to have a little bit more. So this you said it's really this crucial transition point or opening that. So from the core energy to the radiant energy. So it's almost like infusing that core template outwards. Um, Maybe share a little bit more about how that actually happens with people. Like, what are they doing to helps to sort of like in a way link up that core energy with the radiant expression?
Yeah, well, generally, we know through our amazing science of physiology and biology that we have what I would define energetically as our habitual or creative energy fields. We can be in parasympathetic or sympathetic nervous system activation. So when we think about the sympathetic nervous system, fight, flight, freeze, we think about that place of a habitual energy field. And we all know that experiencing of ourselves, the playing out of old patterns, the feeling sometimes we get to at the end of the day when we're like, where did that day go? I think I was waking up out of bed, 10 minutes ago, and somehow I've lived that whole day. And I don't know if I made a conscious decision through the entire day. The place of just doing, moving from one thing habitually to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. So our kind of co-creative consciousness during that day was very, very small. Our patterns were running us. And then we hear ourselves saying, oh, that's just the way I am, or things like, it is what it is. We completely feel removed from our co-creative agency, from that place of being amazing, creative beings, sovereign within our life. So the opposite, of course, or the emergence from that place, is the creative energy field, where we get to experience ourselves as beings who have choice. The habitual energy field, we don't recognize the choice that we can have. We react to something instead of choosing how to respond to it. We simply do the way that we've always done it. We've said those things that we've always said in those situations. And we lose the potential for a greater expression of ourselves, of developing or emerging even more. So that place of the creative energy field, the parasympathetic nervous system. And I've heard that being described with words like tend and befriend, or rest, rest and digest, all beautiful. But for me, those words don't quite contain enough. It's the place of connect and create. Create ourselves. We're always being shaped by our experiences. Every energy field interacts with us. We only have to look at perhaps 2 drops of water in a pond, and the way that as those ripples come in, a third thing is created, that the energy of those ripples work in harmony or not, resonance or dissonance. So that movement between the habitual and the creative energy fields is that movement of either our radiant, core, beautiful energy being able to move through those other energy fields, or finding patterns of dissonance that mean that although at our core we're still in that beautiful bigness, we simply can't express it. We can't experience it. We keep getting moved back into habits. And that's where the place of understanding your energy, so that you can bring in sometimes tiny practices. Activating the core that I just shared with us is an involved practice. What was it, 5-6 minutes, maybe a bit longer, different hand holds, but some of them are so simple. They're the way of returning our consciousness to the potential between the habitual and the creative energy field. It might be as simple as holding a finger. I could have been doing energy practices the entire time I've been chatting with you, Stephen. Yeah. I could have simply been holding this ring finger in my palm. And in doing so, I'm calming down the big body protector that activates fight, flight, and freeze. So I could have been sitting on a bus, sitting in a meeting, holding that finger, consciously supporting my own body protector system. The Chinese refer to it as the triple burner or triple energizer, triple warmer sometimes, that I could have been supporting that so that that fight, flight, freeze never got activated in me. My goodness, how much power we have to change those habitual, reactive ways of being.
Mm. Well, Prune, it's just delightful to learn from you because it's so clear how much deep wisdom and understanding you have about how all these systems interact and how we can really optimize them to be our centered, clear selves, even in the midst of a lot of worldly tumult that we all experience right now. So I'm excited for what you're also going to be teaching in your upcoming course and want to talk about it so people can really get a sense for whether they call to jump in with you because I think it's going to be amazing. So Prune's course is called Create Energetic Resilience. Calibrate your energy field to stay grounded, clear, and energized while navigating the world around you. It's at the URL empathenergeticscourse.com, empathenergeticscourse.com. It's a 7-week training, and even though Prune is working with these systems in a very sophisticated way, you don't have to have any particular background. It's really, she's going to teach you the foundations about how to work with your energy system in a way that can meet you wherever you are and really help you to create that sense of resilience and centeredness and calm within the storms that are around us. And so, Prune, I'd love for you to share in your own words about some of your intentions for what people will come away with, and then let's give a little tour of the modules and what you'll be teaching.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. I think the greatest intention that I have for this course is to help people understand that their sensitivity, the ways in which they are being affected by people, places, events in the global consciousness, the place of things like the environmental crisis or the various wars, the news that we watch, all of those affect us so strongly. So one of my greatest intentions is that we realize we get choice and we begin to understand just how powerful we are in being able to influence our own balance, our own peace, our own harmony. And of course, from that place, my even deeper intention is that as each of us understand our energy and transform our own lives, our own world, that actually we become part of that great interconnected web of health, of healing, of peace, of resilience, because then that changes our world.
Beautiful. Module 1 is called Reclaim Your Sensitivity as a Source of Strength, Energy, and Radiance.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one, Stephen, because it's really about talking as we have done about activating that core, energizing or enlivening that template of health to be able to move through all of our systems. So it becomes really about what is possible, not what are the problems. What we know the problems so well. We know them in ourselves, we know them in the world, but what is possible? How can understanding your energy create that potential and activating that within our system so that as we move through our 7 weeks together, that potential becomes greater and greater. It's activated into its aliveness. So in that first module, I really want to help us understand how energy moves and how powerful we are to actually bring in those small tweaks in much the same way we would, I don't know, brush our hair or clean our teeth or adjust something that we're wearing, these tiny tweaks so that actually we can begin to affect profound transformation.
Module 2, Build Deep Energetic Grounding for Stability and Protection.
Yeah, this is where we get to explore more of that Earth star that you were just asking about. The place, there's a big difference between what I would call surface grounding or superficial grounding and the deep groundedness. And when we work with earthing techniques, when we assess quickly, oh, how grounded am I? Often what we're looking at is that level of electromagnetic groundedness, the surface grounding, which is absolutely essential. Without that, well, we know the research on it, inflammation in the system goes up, our emotional stability goes way down. We understand the effect of not being superficially grounded or surface grounded. But actually, it feels to me that as a collective, we can really deepen our understanding of the deep groundedness, the subtle groundedness, that profound interconnectivity through the Earth star, and how that feeds up into the chakras, up into the lower dantian, up into those two essential places I was talking of, the sense of belonging and of being beloved. Because from that, we have such a different foundation of reality, a different foundation of who we are and how we are, that, my goodness, we have a strong, strong capacity for inner and outer resilience.
Module 3, strengthen your aura to feel clear and energetically sovereign.
Yeah, this one is all about protection and connection. Sometimes when I work with teaching the aura, I come across the questions or impression that the aura has to be like this huge shield of protection that stops everything from coming in or stops everything from going out. And there is truth in that way of perceiving the aura. But actually, in its strength, the aura is about that level of protection. So stopping things coming in that are not in service to your fullest expression, are not in service to who you are as an emerging fullness, as an emerging being. So rather than thinking of it as a shield, we can begin to think about the aura as this incredible kind of bouncy, permeable, but wise energy field that will deflect what isn't serving you and receive what is. And likewise, you are brilliant. You are magnificent. The world wants to receive the vibration that you emanate. So the place of your aura being able to share your wisdom, your gifts, your power as well. So this place of the protected empath or the protected individual, so we can be connected, protected, and in dynamic relationship with. And one of the key things there is the fact that your aura, your biofield, has a skin just like your body does. And that auric membrane, the health of that auric membrane, will determine so much about your capacity to hold resilience no matter what situation you're in.
Module 4, activate your energetic core to cultivate connection and inner power.
Yeah, well, I mean, we just had a little taste of that, didn't we, with the activating the core practice. So in this module, we really look at deeper parts of the core energy and work with practices to help that move through, bring nourishment, bring healing to the rest of your energy anatomy, so that even where there are places of depletion or congestion, places that show up as stuck or old ways of being, that energetic core energy can radiate through that and really return it back into harmony and balance.
Module 5, transform overwhelm into resilience by restoring flow in your energy system.
Yeah. So at this point, 5 weeks in, we begin to take the learnings of the previous few weeks and really work with them to energize the central point. We work with waking that central heart energy. So earlier along in this event, I talked about the vertical axis and the horizontal and the way that they meet in the deep heart, which has a very profound correlation with the physical heart, but actually it's the energy of that deep heart as it connects into the core, into the soul energy, that we're really working with by the time we get to module 5.
Then module 6, align with your purpose by embodying confidence, clarity, and energetic empowerment.
Yeah, well, alignment is just fine there too, because we're taking it to the next level now of actually having worked with the essential energy in your system. How can you support that flowing out into your life, into your day? How can it support your embodiment of confidence, of trust, of being able to feel resilient in the situations that you create or find yourself in your everyday.
And finally, module 7, integrate your daily practices to live with energetic health and greater trust.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, it really says what it is there. The place of every week, I'll be sharing different practices, sometimes two or three, sometimes one much deeper one. And by the end of the course, you'll have well, a medical kit or a toolkit, a medicine bag of all of these different techniques. And one thing that I've come across regularly is people saying, okay, but which ones do I need? And so in this one, we really work with bringing the understandings forward of how to apply the practices to specific needs in your daily life so that it becomes a very fluid skill that you have to think, okay, in this situation, perhaps you could say, in this situation, my aura is no longer in its strength, because you understand by then what it feels like in its strength and what it feels like when it's not in its strength. So you can track it and say, oh, I'm feeling off, I'm feeling vulnerable, I'm not feeling very resilient. What's going on? Hang on. I think it's my aura. Okay, so I'll bring forward this practice and then assessing it. Yeah, I feel so much different. I can move on in my day. So you're building those incredible skills of being your own energy detective so that you can bring the changes into every situation in your day in life.
Mm. Well, what a truly beautiful offering, and it could not be more timely for the moment we're in which the chaos seems to just be escalating in the world. And so, to be able to come to this place of sanctuary in ourselves and really align, become more resilient, and really have our core energy infuse our every waking moment, what a blessing. So I'll share a little bit more about it. So again, it's at the URL empathenergeticscourse.com. If you choose to move forward, you'll get those 7 90-minute live sessions with Prune, which are also going to include time to do practices together, ask questions of Prune. You'll also get recordings of every session with video and audio, as well as word-for-word transcripts, which really empowers you to go back and really study these practices, make them your own, really bring them into your life. There'll be weekly practices you can do at home. There's a community group to support you and deepen your experience. And on the page, you'll also see a number of extra bonuses that have been added by Prune to enhance your journey. There's a video and audio recording called Resilience and Gratitude Meditation. Prune, you want to share more about that?
Yeah, it's a beautiful practice, literally a meditation. So we can take the time to sit in that place of cultivating a resilience through working with our hands to support energetic places, but also working with our consciousness in gratitude, deeply empowering and healing.
Mm. There's a second bonus called Energies Are Us. It's a video dialogue with Prune and Robert Peng, who's a wonderful teacher within our Qigong area for Shift. And so we want to share more about Energies Are Us.
Oh, it was such a joy chatting with Robert. Both of us obviously deeply passionate about energy and sharing energy understandings. And it was a really rich conversation and also very much filled with joy. So I hope that people really enjoy watching that.
Mm. And then finally, there's a very special bonus. It's actually a full mini course called Your Magnificent Aura Course. It's a video course that Prune's created. That's your special bonus if you sign up by midnight tonight Pacific time. So it gives you a little extra incentive to really read through the page today at Empath Energetics course and tune in with your own inner knowing. If you move forward today, you're going to get this full extra video course. It's Your Magnificent Aura. Want to share more about that?
Yeah, it's an absolute joy, that course. I take you through several practices that you can be exploring really how to empower and bring healing into your auric field. Remembering that that aura is that key between the external, the internal. It's how your energy is conveyed in its own information field. So if there's something that's going on in the outer edges of a chakra, it's the auric field that takes that into your energetic core. So this amazing weave of information that the aura is. So these are practices that you can work with to really enhance that, deepen your groundedness, and experience a lot more safety in your system, even before we get to the resilience course.
Well, it's clearly going to be an amazing program. We've also kept the investment for this very accessible. It's just 3 payments of $128, or you save 10% when you pay in full with one payment of $349. The course is going to start June 16th and run Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, which also works really well for all European time zones. So you'll, even if you can't make the live times, you can still get the full value with the recordings, the transcripts, and the community. There's some beautiful testimonials on the page from graduates of Prune's previous course at the Shift Network. Prune's work continues to change my life. And I now know how much power the human body has to heal itself. I became aware that my body's incredibly strong, like an ancient and wise old oak tree. So there's some amazing testimonials from people who've studied with Prune before, and I think you can tell from this hour, she is truly masterful and both the terrain and understanding it, as well as teaching you how to navigate it in a way that is really empowering for your whole system to become energetically resilient and whole. So again, the whole program is laid out at empathenergeticscourse.com, and you'll get that special mini course on your magnificent aura when you sign up by midnight tonight. So Prune, love being with you. You're such a wise emissary for this work. And so anything that you want to share that's still on your heart, you want to share with folks who are considering doing the course with you?
Thank you, Stephen. I've certainly enjoyed chatting with you as well. Yeah, I think that the most important thing that I want to share is that it is possible to feel enlivened, full of vitality, joyful, even radiant right now. And in a way, even with everything that's going on, it's possible. But actually, what I say is because of everything that's going on, it's possible and such a powerful healing presence. When you understand your energy, you truly can transform your world. And in doing that, we can transform our world together. And that certainly lights up my radiant soul. I really look forward to working with you to support yours.
Mm. Well, it's clear that just the depth of your understanding and the warmth of your welcome is such a great combo. Thank you, Prune, for this time together. Thank you for this course, and thank you all for joining. And look forward to seeing many of you in the upcoming course. And again, it's all the details are at empathenergeticscourse.com. And if you get signed up right away, you'll get that special mini course on your magnificent aura. So thank you so much. Many blessings.